What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going over something very interesting, okay? We're going over the top 5 things that I love about this car, this 2023 Subaru WRX. All right? So, we're in the car, one, because the first 2 things on the list are about the inside of the car. Number 2, because it's humid and the air quality's bad and I feel comfy and cozy inside, right? So starting off, we're gonna start off with the interior as a whole, just like the interior in general. And I want to talk about that right now. So this is the base car, right? And so I'm only going to be speaking on behalf of the base. I'm not going to be reviewing or, telling you how the interior on the premium or the limited or the GT. But what I will say is on the base model, Subaru did a very good job at, making sure that everything the driver touches, comes in contact with, looks at, uses, anything that the driver has to, interact with. Subaru did a very good job at making sure that felt of quality, right? The steering wheel feels nice. It looks good. I don't know if it's a real leather or if it's just like some sort of pleather, but it looks good and I think it feels good. They give you a nice flat bottom, some cool red stitching. The elbow rest on the door is like a soft rubber leather feel. It's more like a leather or pleather than it is like a rubber. Up here on the windowsill, it's soft touch, nice cushiony like fabric material right here. A little bit of soft touch up here. I think this is soft touch, yeah, right there. And then on the passenger side as well, the handbrake feels very nice, feels very quality. All the buttons feel nice. Even the base infotainment feels good, right? It doesn't lag. I personally don't think it lags. I think it's very responsive. And I personally, and not just saying this because this is my car and I bought the base, I personally like this layout more than the big tablet, right? I think the tablets are cool in, $100,000 cars or Teslas, but other than that, I think, in your everyday cars, I think it's just too much, right? Especially when the cars are so cheap, they can't perfect those infotainments. And so you usually end up with something laggy or something that just looks fancy and doesn't have a lot of features in it. So I am perfectly okay with this little double din thing we got going on right here. Also, I made a short, and this was in the short, but the faux carbon fiber, I really like that. I know it's not real, and like the silver, like brushed silver or whatever you would call that, painted silver plastic stuff, I really like that. I think it makes the interior of the car look sporty and nice, and that's all I need. So yeah, number 1, the interior. All right, number 2, we're actually staying in the car because number 2 is still technically in the car, and that is the bass sound system on the base car WRX, right? I don't know what brand it is. It's unnamed, unbranded. I don't know what other trims have this. It might just be in the base car. It could be in the premium. I think the premium, whichever one is up from the base, it might be in that one as well. But the bass sound system sounds really good to me. It's not muddy. It's pretty clear. It doesn't have a lot of fake bass. That being said, it doesn't have a lot of bass, but it hits pretty decent. That is one thing. It's not a complaint, and it's not something that I would deem necessary, but Subi Mods does sell I think it's Subi Mods. They sell a sub box for the trunk. I'm probably going to get that at some point because I like my music. I like my bass to hit. Not saying the bass in this car doesn't hit. I have my EQ adjusted, and I think the way my settings are, I think it sounds really good. I'm going to try and get a clip of some music put in here. If I do that, it's going to be right now. Sounds good. I like it. All right, coming in at number 3, and this might just be me. I don't know about all you other long-term Subaru owners, but number 3 for me is this FA24. The engine, this Boxer engine, and the sound that this engine produces. Now, this might just be because it's my first Subaru, it's my first boxer motor, but I love the way this thing sounds. It's got, I know it's not like an EJ, it doesn't have unequal length headers or anything like that, but it's got some good little rumble. I had a 2-liter GTI before, and it sounded like your typical 4-cylinder, right? But I really like the way this FA24 sounds. I'm gonna give you some exhaust clips. It's not loud by any means. The stock exhaust is not loud. That's actually something that probably one of the first things I want to do is get an exhaust, just an axle back. My wife would kill me if I spent a whole bunch of money right now on this car after I just bought this car. So probably just an axle back. I'm looking at the ETS axle backs and the Remark muffler delete axle back. But yeah, I love the sound of this. I'm going to give you some exhaust clips of the stock exhaust putting in right now. Coming in at number 4, suspension. The suspension is surprisingly stiff. It's very stiff, to be honest with you, for what kind of car this is and the market that it's in. And the value, it's very stiff, expensive. It's very stiff suspension, and I think personally I like that. Some people don't like that, you know, they want a nice, smooth, comfortable ride. This is not that. I had a GTI, as I've mentioned before, and it was sporty feeling. The car felt sporty, obviously, you know, it's a GTI, but it also had that soft luxuriousness to the suspension. The suspension didn't feel super sporty, and I think that's something that I really love about this car, right? Because it's a cheap car. It's not a, you know, Porsche GT3. It's not a Golf R. It's not something crazy, right? It's not a Type R, but the suspension feels nice. It feels very quality. It feels very sporty, and I like that. You know, my wife, you know, riding on the interstate, we'll hit a bump every now and then. She'll make that but I love it, right? I think you could just about tell if a penny was heads or tails if you ran over it. It's that stiff to me, and I love that. So yeah, number 4, the suspension. It's stiff and I like it. All right, well, I had to step outside to the death there. I don't know if you can see how hazy it is on camera, but it's freaking crazy. Oh yeah, I haven't said anything, but look, somebody in a 1996 Ford Exploder decided to steal my tag, so, or my temporary tag. So if anybody sees that, you know, let me know. Let them know. I plan on hunting them down as long as this head gasket will last. But number 5 is the stereotypical WRX STI Fender Arches. That little section right there, front and back. It's almost like a wide body, and I have loved these on every single generation that they've been on, and this VB chassis is no exception. No exception. I absolutely love it. Try to get some good angles of you, or for you. I can't imagine, you know, what this thing would look like with like an actual wide body, but hopefully, fingers crossed, one day we'll get there to that level. But yeah, the stereotypical Subaru WRX STI wide body, like over fender things. I don't know what you would call it. No, I guess not over fenders, right? Fender arches maybe. But I love them. Absolutely love them. All right, guys, thanks for sticking around, watching the top 5 things that I love about this 2023 Subaru WRX. See you in the next one. Peace.